From lying about her upbringing to her connection to Diddy, here's the most embarrassing times Jennifer Lopez got busted for lying. Now last year, Jennifer Lopez was called out online after the release of her documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told. In the doc, she talks about her life and upbringing, but many people called her out for lying about that part of her life. In one scene, Jennifer poses in the mirror of her personal gym as she shakes out her hair and reminisces about her childhood in the Bronx. I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block, crazy little girl who used to be effing wild and no limits, all dreams. Now people who knew J.Lo growing up though called her out. TikTok user Photos by Angela slammed the star in a series of videos as she claimed to have gone to the same Catholic high school and accused her of lying about her experience living in the Bronx. She said in a video, "We both attended an all-girls high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block." Now after this, fans began to dig up more videos and interviews where J.Lo wasn't honest about her upbringing. Another video that stands out is a conversation she had with Vogue in 2022. During the interview, she was asked about her upbringing in the Bronx, and she revealed what her regular order was at local bodegas. "Ham and cheese on a roll with an orange drink. If you know, you know," she said. But nobody in fact did know what she was talking about. "What the F is an orange drink?" one asked online, and I gotta agree. It seems like no one online really knows what she meant by an orange drink, and it's just weird. Then there's the plastic surgery claims. J.Lo has said time and time again that she hasn't had any procedures done, but some fans aren't buying it, and neither are plastic surgeons. In 2013, a plastic surgeon claimed that her face shows evidence of cosmetic procedures. Dr. Ahem Al-Ayubi tweeted, "These before and after pics of @JLo show many signs of #plastic surgery. Naturally pretty, but now looks amazing." Then Dr. Stephen Perlman, New York City facial plastic surgeon, is certain that Jennifer has had some help. "I believe she's had Botox because there are no lines on her forehead and there are no crow's feet, but she had it done previously," he said. J.Lo's appearance was also analyzed on the @surgeonmaid_curves Instagram account on February 4th this year, with the caption for its post saying, "We can't deny the plastic surgery, makeup, fillers, and/or Botox had a hand in her aging gracefully." And finally, one user on social media said, "My friend's dad used to go to high school with her in the Bronx, and he showed me her school pictures, and she looks very different. Nose job is undeniable." Now, J.Lo claims though that she's au naturel and that she uses olive oil on her face to help her skin look good. But many people are still skeptical of this. Aging is a normal process everyone goes through, but it seems like J.Lo defies the process, which can't be natural. Then there's the time she lied about getting a maid fired. Now J.Lo is known to be pretty rude to service staff, so when it was reported that she got a maid fired, it didn't really shock anyone. In 2012, Prey Doja was responsible for cleaning J.Lo's hotel room in Germany while she was there for her world tour. Prey explained that she was a fan of the star, so she tried to ask for an autograph, only to have two of J.Lo's assistants stop her. Now that sucks, but it is pretty reasonable. But what happened next wasn't. Prey was actually fired from her job the day after she asked for the autograph. She said, "A day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said that Miss Lopez had complained. I was fired right there on the phone because of an autograph." Later on though, J.Lo herself denied the claims with one single tweet saying, "Come on, thought you knew me better than this, but never get anyone fired over an autograph. First I heard of this was on Twitter." But Prey has a different story, and I'm honestly more inclined to believe her. As we know, Jennifer Lopez has been in many relationships and married, but her first husband, Ojani Noah, has come out to tell the truth about the star and explain the real reason for the failure of their relationship. He has come out and blamed Sean Diddy Combs for his broken marriage with the singer and is accusing J.Lo of lying during their marriage. In an interview from 2024, he said, "Part of that divorce was Diddy's fault. When Sony came and paid her the million she got, there was Puffy, who was going to be one of the producers of several tracks on the first album on the 6. That's where the deception, the lies, the separation started. I was in Los Angeles opening my restaurant, and she was between Miami and New York working on the album. When I could, I would go be with her. There, in that distance, in that separation, was where the deception started, he added. Noah expressed in the interview that the broken marriage with J.Lo actually hurt his own chances at having a career. I would ask Jennifer, what did I do to you so that you have taken me to court? You have accused me, you have lied, you've created false things about me, and you have called several companies to throw me out and different television networks to not give me work. Why, if I have not done anything to you? Let her tell the truth, let her tell everything that happened, he added, according to page 6. Then it was exposed that she actually knew more about Diddy's situation than she's let on. J.Lo has remained silent when it comes to the charges against Diddy, including the one time she was arrested with him from an incident that happened in a nightclub. Suge Knight has stated that J.Lo was allegedly aware of Diddy's involvement in the 2001 nightclub incident, even though she and Diddy blamed rapper Shane for it, who was convicted, imprisoned, and later deported. He also spoke about J.Lo and Ben Affleck's divorce and how it had to do with Diddy as well. The FBI go raid Puffy's house and they get all these videos of J.Lo doing this and J.Lo doing that. And they know the fact that J.Lo lied and said that the weapon was Shane's or whatever, and sent that man to prison, destroyed his life, and she knew it was Puffy's. Now he then claimed that the FBI must have found tapes of J.Lo admitting to knowing everything, and then they showed it to Ben. He said, "I'm quite sure they said, we want to show you some things about your wife," adding this after Ben then decided to separate from J.Lo. Now his claims can't be proven or verified yet, but he could very well be right. And speaking of the nightclub incident, Jennifer was caught lying about her age when they were questioned about what happened. Up until that point, Jennifer had said she was born in 1970, but she was actually born in 1969. Now, this is just strange because when most celebs lie about their age, it's usually a bigger number, but lying about just 1 year seems so weird. Now, Jennifer has not addressed this, so we don't know why she lied, but there are rumors though that she lied about her age to make the age cutoff for her role in the movie Selena, which just so happened to thrust her into the spotlight, or that she lied about it in school and then just stuck with the lie. Now I don't know, but it's honestly just very strange. J.Lo has also been caught multiple times lying about writing and even singing certain songs. After J.Lo signed to Sony Music, she dropped her debut album on the 6th in summer of 1999. Now one big hit from the album was If You Had My Love, but the song received backlash from R&B singer Shantae Moore, as she had a near identical song called If I Gave Love that was recorded a year prior in 1998. Now J.Lo also stole from Mariah Carey. Now Mariah spoke about it in her memoir and recalled when her music mogul ex-husband Tommy Mulata tried to sabotage her single release by giving a sample she had on her 2001 hit Loverboy to another female entertainer on their label whom I don't know, aka J.Lo. And finally, in 2005, Usher came out and claimed that J.Lo stole one of his songs he put to the side and was going to continue working on. Usher claimed that J.Lo's single, Get Right, is actually a re-recorded version of Ride, a song that he co-wrote the year before, which was only available online. He said, "I hate it, but I better get some of the publishing rights or else. I didn't put it on my album because I couldn't get it right, but I didn't expect J.Lo to just take it." Now that is just straight messed up.
Jennifer Lopez. It seems like she can't sell her tour. She's been cancelling dates, struggling to sell tickets.
Jennifer Lopez wanted to get like, hey, I'm still popular too. And she's not so much.
Was J.Lo banned from a luxury store? And what is her connection to the presently unfolding Diddy situation? We'll answer this and more today in Top 10 Jennifer Lopez Lies Exposed to Everyone. Knight, a former record exec, revealed in September of this year that he believes the reason that J.Lo separated from ex-husband Ben Affleck was because of some tapes found in Diddy's home. Knight shared his theories on his podcast, claiming that when the FBI raided Diddy's home, they would have found some tapes featuring the Jenny from the Block singer. The former record exec further went on to bring up the 1990 1999 incident that got J.Lo arrested with Diddy. The altercation in the Manhattan club that dissolved into a police chase and the arrest of the famous individuals. Knight said, they go raid Puffy's house and they get all these videos of J.Lo doing this and J.Lo doing that, and they know the fact that J.Lo lied and said that the weapon was Shine's or whatever and sent that man to prison, destroyed his life, and she knew it was Puffy's. This is a pretty major accusation considering that people were hurt in that club fight. If you can believe it, this isn't the only person that has indirectly revealed that J.Lo might have lied or not been entirely truthful about her involvement that night. Earlier this year, new details came to light when Rodney Little Rod Jones Jr. filed a civil lawsuit for non-consensual relations and harassment against Diddy. But it also seemed to possibly reference this 1999 incident as well. It claimed that on the day Homeland Security raided Diddy's home, he displayed his weapons and bragged about getting away with using these weapons against people. It went further, saying that J.Lo was the one who carried the firearm into the club for him and passed him the firearm after he got into an altercation with another individual. On the night of the incident, J.Lo was held for 14 hours before being cleared of all charges. Now you would think that the club situation was enough drama on its own with everything we just covered, but it actually exposed another long-haul lie that J.Lo had kept up. The star had told everyone that she was born in 1970, but because she was, arrested that night, she had to tell the police her actual date of birth, which revealed that she was actually born in 1969. Not really a major difference, but it was enough to have people buzzing. I mean, the whole night definitely had news publications buzzing. This was just like a little cherry on top, and what a way to have to reveal your age to the world. J.Lo wasn't entirely honest about who was singing the chorus of her song, If You Had My Love. Shania Harrell apparently sang the chorus, but was credited as just a background singer. Having someone else on your track, it's super common in the music industry. In recent years, it's more common that people will sing the majority of their song and the other voices will truly be backing vocals. But it seems like in this case, Harrell might have not been credited properly if she really did sing the chorus, and J.Lo is just lip syncing along. Maybe J.Lo never came out and said that she wasn't fully singing the chorus, but she also didn't make it known that she wasn't. Likely what happened is J.Lo did put some vocals in there, mixed in with Harrell handling the brunt of it. As for crediting the person as a background singer, there's no way of knowing if J.Lo was the one to sign off on that. A similar situation can be found for J.Lo's song I'm Real. J.Lo might be known as the singer, but Ashanti deserves her flowers, at least when it comes to the chorus and ad-libs and the writing of the song. Allegedly, the song I'm Real by Jennifer Lopez was written by Ashanti. She sung the demo that was given to J.Lo. Typically, artists, when they get demos, they just use it to see what the song will sound like, then they re-record the song because it's their song now, they want their vocals. At least that is what one might think. In this case, it looks like J.Lo did not re-record anything, just kept the demo vocals and ad-libs. Ashanti received credit for background vocals, but the co-writing credit was nowhere to be found. So, while J.Lo likely got permission to do that, it wasn't a good look in the eyes of the public since it almost felt like J.Lo lied to them about who was really singing the song. To make the entire situation worse, J.Lo, who is Puerto Rican, used the N-word on the track. That was met with the appropriate response and callouts. I'm Real was so successful that Ashanti did actually write for J.Lo again, so there must not have been too much bad blood. She came back to write Ain't It Funny, also adding some ad-lib vocals into this song. She did get to appear in the music video for that one too. Social media star Samantha Barbash was the inspiration behind the critically acclaimed film Hustlers, produced by and starring Jennifer Lopez. But she called out the actress for lying about her compensation on that movie. Samantha in general does not appreciate that film and actually sued J.Lo and her production company for defamation. Samantha shared her perspective on the situation in an interview with TMZ. She said, "They basically stole my story. I wouldn't sign my rights away. I wasn't giving away my film and TV rights for peanuts." J.Lo famously said that she didn't make any money working on Hustlers, that she did it for free because she loved the story. But Barbash is claiming that the star is lying about that, saying, "J.Lo doesn't work for free, why would I?" She further claimed that 87% of the film was wrong. Samantha's case, though, was ultimately dismissed. There was a rumor going around that J.Lo had asked her friend Derek Hough to move his wedding around to better fit the scheduling for her movie. Turns out, that was a big lie. Derek Hough exposed the rumor for what it was, nothing but a fake story. He did this during an interview with E! News. He clarified that J.Lo did not make him change his schedule, she flipped her schedule around for him. He also went on to say that J.Lo provided guidance and help while he was planning his wedding. The reason the rumor even started in the first place was because J.Lo was adamant on getting Derek Hough for her movie, but when she was told that he couldn't do it because he was in a wedding, his wedding, she still asked them to call again anyways. People assume that because Huff was ultimately in the movie, that she made him switch things around, which again wasn't the case. One TikTok user accused J.Lo of lying about having a tough upbringing. This came after clips from J.Lo's documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, went viral online. The artist was talking about her life in the Bronx, her working class family, and how crazy it was. She said, "I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx running up and down the block." One TikTok user, Photos by Angela, did not appreciate these claims and called out J.Lo for lying about her life and accused the star of using the people of the Bronx to look human. In her own video about the situation, she said, "We both attended an all-girls high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block." Angela later admitted that her and J.Lo didn't attend the school at the same time. J.Lo went there first, but Angela did know of her. What has been apparently a known industry secret recently reached public ears when multiple stories of J.Lo's tipping etiquette emerged on the social media app TikTok. Dozens of people in the serving industry shared the same story. J.Lo either wouldn't tip much, or if her husband at the time tipped more than she thought appropriate, she would replace that tip with something smaller. Most stories have one thing in common: J.Lo is not fun to serve. This situation also has people up in arms, considering J.Lo is always referencing her upbringing and how hard she worked. It makes people wonder why she is so reluctant to give those in the service industry an extra boost every once in a while. One former casino employee claimed in a video that J.Lo would either encourage Ben Affleck to leave smaller tips for employees, or if he still left something bigger, circle back later to exchange that tip for something smaller, likely without her husband knowing, but unfortunately not always. In one particular instance of this, Affleck was allegedly present when it happened and allegedly looked mortified. Now some servers have made the claim that Affleck doesn't tip at all anymore. TikTok user Candace made a video calling servers to comment on it if they have a J.Lo story like this, and many shared their experiences and those of their friends. Recently, J.Lo was spotted out with a $70,000 Hermes bag on her arm, and people were quick to comment on that high price tag. It is more than some people's salary, but that's not even the big deal here. Some TikTok and Threads users have been spreading a rumor that J.Lo has been banned from Hermes because of this very bag, saying that the star didn't pay for it in full or something like that, and as punishment she was banned from the luxury store. This would mean they are losing a big customer, since J.Lo's Hermes collection totals to hundreds of thousands of dollars. The singer has a wide range of Birkins in addition to the picnic basket looking one that landed her name in the headlines. Her most expensive bag is an estimated $500,000. There are a few loose threads with the Hermes ban rumor, one being, why would the luxury store let one of their precious bags go without receiving full payment for it? If she bought it secondhand, why would the store ban her? If she has more expensive bags, why wouldn't she be able to afford this one? It's safe to say that this was one internet rumor that turned out to be a big lie.
Guys, J.Lo is a pathological liar. I mean, I can't even tell when she's telling the truth. From getting someone fired to degrading other celebrities, here's our list of embarrassing times Jennifer Lopez got busted lying. Now, J.Lo was supposed to go on tour this year, but it was canceled. Now, the reason why she said it was canceled and the truth were both very different things. J.Lo sent a special message to her fans via her On the J.Lo newsletter, telling them of canceling the tour. "I am completely heartsick and devastated about letting you down." She also said, "Please know that I wouldn't do this if I didn't feel it was absolutely necessary. I promise I will make it up to you and we'll all be together again. I love you all so much. Until next time." Now, representatives for Live Nation announced that the summer tour, This Is Me Live, was canceled, saying in a statement, Jennifer's taking time off to be with her children, family, and close friends. Sources insisted that pulling the plug was not due to poor ticket sales, but rather for personal reasons and wanting to be with her kids. But this is simply not true. Now, J.Lo first announced her tour in the middle of February, initially as the This Is Me Now tour. A week later, 3 shows were added, but then the name of the tour was mysteriously rebranded in April. The tour's name had been changed from This Is Me Now to This Is Me Live, The Greatest Hits. It was cited that low ticket sales was a possible reason for emphasizing J.Lo's back catalog. Now, at the time, Variety reported the latest rebrand suggests a pivot from a tour focusing on the new album songs to one spanning her discography, a move that may entice listeners who didn't connect with her latest material. Now, not to mention, her new album debuted at a disappointing 38 on the Billboard 200. Now, in March, she raised eyebrows when she and her team decided to cancel 7 shows from her tour without any explanation. Then in June, it was announced that it was canceled. Now, another reason reason, besides low ticket sales, could have been because she was going through a divorce with her then husband, Ben Affleck. She cited April 26 as the date of their separation, so it's likely that this had something to do with the cancellation as well. Now, between a divorce and poor ticket sales, I don't blame her for canceling the tour, but she should have been more open and honest about it with her fans. But here comes another lie. She is known for lip syncing. Yep, this so-called great performer doesn't even sing live while on stage. In November 2021, she was slammed by music fans for allegedly lip syncing during her American Music Awards performance as she took the stage to carry out her brand new song, On My Way, Marry Me. An angry viewer ranted, "Come on with the overproduced singing, this sounds exactly like her live vocals just did," and a commenter pointed out, "Now why are you lip syncing? You have a great voice, just sing the song." Now, this isn't the first time this has happened though, as in 2014 she was caught lip syncing her performance of I Love You Poppy on American Idol. And again, fans were not happy about this. Then in 2012, it was reported that she had a maid fired from her job, although J.Lo repeatedly denies it. Jennifer was staying at the Melia Dusseldorf in Germany, and a maid working at the hotel, Prey Doja, approached the diva's room to get an autograph. Now, she spoke with J.Lo's assistant, who denied her to see the star. The next morning, Prey was fired. She said, "A day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said that Miss Lopez had complained. I was fired right there on the phone because of an autograph." Now, Jennifer and the hotel deny that she was fired for that reason, as the maid had allegedly barged into the room unannounced, and the singer's security immediately gave her the boot out of concern for the singer's safety. The hotel management has since assured J.Lo's people that no one was fired, but the maid company the hotel uses has relocated the maid in question to a different property. But I mean, who would lie about getting fired? It seems pretty convincing to me. "Come on, I thought you knew me better than this," Jennifer tweeted. "Would never get anyone fired over an autograph. First I heard of this was on Twitter," she said. But Prey has a different story. And let me just say, I believe in the maid because J.Lo is known to be pretty horrible to service workers. Now, J.Lo had quite a year in 2024, and this year an interview she did with Movie Line in 1998 resurfaced, where she talked about other female actors. And let me just say, she was not saying nice things at all. On Oscar-nominated actress Salma Hayek, she said, "We're in two different realms. She's a sexy bombshell, and those are the kind of roles she does. I do all kinds of different things." Cameron Diaz was a lucky model who's been given a lot of opportunities. "I just wish she would have done more with," she said. And Oscar winner Gwyneth Paltrow, she said, "I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard of her work." And for Madonna, well, when asked about Madonna's acting skills, J.Lo didn't hold back. "Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, 'Oh, I can do that, I can act.' I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." Now, after the interview was published, J.Lo regretted everything she said about her colleagues and said it was all a joke. She then later apologized profusely since then for her remarks, claiming that she was misquoted and so taken out of context. But which one is it? I think she's just trying to cover up her mean girlness, as people were calling her out. Now, she already suffered for what she said though, as Madonna had read the interview and reportedly felt disrespected. There was a New Year's Eve party hosted by Donatella Versace that year, which was attended by J.Lo, Madonna, and Christopher Saccone. Christopher explained that Ingrid Caceres, Madonna's close friend, ran into the courtyard during the celebration and shouted, "J.Lo is here and we're not talking to her." He said that everyone except for him and Donatella Versace gave Jennifer the cold shoulder, and honestly, I think she deserved it. And finally, we're moving on to the whole Super Bowl halftime show. Jennifer was frustrated with the organizers of the halftime show for giving her and Shakira the same amount of time that any solo performer would receive, rather than doubling it for their performance. Now, for context, performers at the halftime show are usually given 12 to 16 minutes on stage, but it's not uncommon for multiple artists to share the stage for a performance of this time length. Now, one recent Super Bowl, for example, saw stars Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, and 50 Cent, with each member only receiving a few minutes directly centered in the spotlight. However, J.Lo was clearly unhappy with the idea of her and Shakira dividing the time between them, telling her music director Kim Burse in her Netflix documentary, "We have 6 effing minutes. We have 30 seconds of a song, and if we take a minute, that's it. We've got 5 left. But there's going to be certain songs that we sing though. We have to have our singing moments. We have to sing our message," she said, before going on to label the entire thing the worst idea in the world. "This is the worst idea in the world to have 2 people do the Super Bowl," she said. Now, while this is what it was like behind the scenes, to the whole world, J.Lo was acting all happy about sharing the stage. But as soon as her real feelings about the situation started to come out, fans called her out for her entitled attitude, arguing that regardless of the time constraints, she and Shakira were still able to put on an amazing performance. Now, it's crazy that she acted so happy to the public about all this when she was really feeling the opposite. I'm glad people called her out though, and I can't imagine how Shakira felt about all of this.
Number 10. Botox. Has Jennifer had Botox in the past? She would tell you no, but many dermatologists would disagree. Jen started receiving major backlash after the release of her skincare brand J.Lo Beauty. She claimed that this was the secret to her ageless appearance, which many just don't believe. The star shared a makeup-free selfie and her skin looks a little bit too perfect. She has been quoted in the past saying, "I haven't had Botox to this day. I'm not that person." She went on to claim that it was olive oil and not a procedure of any sort, saying, "My mom used to say that olive oil was a cure-all for everything. So when we went to do this, that was the first thing I said. It has to have olive oil." After this statement, the dermatologist Corey Hartman took to Instagram and wrote his opinion, saying, "I think Jennifer is probably forgetting if she's had Botox, but I know for sure that she's used more than olive oil to maintain that glow." Going on to add, "To each their own. Good luck J.Lo with the olive oil. We don't believe you, but we still love you, Jenny." Jennifer shot back though, and when asked about the Botox speculation during an interview with People, she said, "I'm telling you what I do works. Please don't call me a liar. I don't lie about things. I've been pretty honest about my whole life." She even responded to some of them criticism on her Instagram and commented back at fans claiming that she had Botox, saying, "For the 500th millionth time, I have never done Botox or any injectables or surgery." But it seems many are in agreement that it would just be impossible to achieve that look at her age with just olive oil. Number 9. The movie line interview. Was she using this interview as a chance to bash her fellow women in the industry? Or was she, like she has claimed, just in a fan mentality? The movie line interview from 1998 is now infamous because of J.Lo's interesting critiques of other women in the industry. One woman she attacked was Madonna and her acting. When asked about Madonna, she allegedly responded by saying, "Do I think she's great? No. Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, and I'm harder on people when they say, 'Oh, I can do that. I can act.' And I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." Gwyneth Paltrow was another victim of this interview. When asked about Gwyneth, J.Lo responded by saying, "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God I don't remember anything she's in. Some people get hot by association." Going on to say, "I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work." Cameron Diaz was next up in the pretty harsh interview. Jen said when discussing Cameron, "She's a lucky model who's been given a lot of opportunities. I just wish she would have done more with it." She went on to kind of dismiss the actress by saying, "She's beautiful and has a great presence. Though in My Best Friend's Wedding, I thought when directed she's good." She was then asked about this interview 20 years later, and she did admit that she knew it really angered some people. She said at the time, "I was still in that kind of fan mentality, back in the Bronx. And then you go, oh wait a minute, you have to present yourself in the way that you are." Going on to say, "So I learned to be more responsible." Number 8. Controlling. One thing I'm sure Jen would deny is how controlling she's been known to be. Sources have come forward to speak about how Jen and Ben Affleck's marriage is going, and it seems like there's a lot that annoys her about him. An insider claims that Ben's smoking habit is a big deal for Jen, as this is one of his long-standing habits. They revealed he's promised to give it up, but with all her nagging, he's smoking even more. Besides his most likely very annoying smoking habit, the source also reveals Ben may also have a bit of a cleanliness problem as well, sharing Ben doesn't clean up after himself, which really irritates Jennifer. The source also discusses the way Jennifer goes about nagging her husband, saying she's been known to yell at him and point her finger. behavior. It makes people wonder if she mistakes him for a dog. Not only this, but Jen really threw Ben under the bus when she suggested in an interview that Ben had no idea how to dress himself. She recalled a conversation with him and said, "I did kind of like say, you need to be, you're a movie star, you should wear a suit. You should do this with your hair." Going on to say, he didn't do anything he didn't want to do. He had some good fashion moments when he was with me. Number 7, the makeup artist. This is more of an instance of J.Lo believing a lie and then completely running with it. In the mid-2000s, Jen really came after her longtime makeup artist, Scott Barnes. This came after rumors began circulating that someone in her inner circle had leaked information about her private marriage ceremony to Mark Anthony. During an interview, Scott explained what it was like to be basically banished by Jen for a whole year until it was revealed that someone else leaked the information. He said at the time, "It was like I had the Black Plague." He went on to explain that while he did get his job back, Jen supposedly didn't apologize. Scott revealed, "I went back to work with her and we just never spoke about it again, which is even weirder." Number 6, the Mariah Carey feud. It's been a long-known rumor that Mariah Carey is J.Lo's #1 nemesis, and after some of the reported incidents, it really does seem like this rumor is true. This feud dates back to the 90s and they have both since denied that there is no bad blood, but that just really does not seem to be the truth. Allegedly, the beginning to this long fight began because of Mariah's ex-husband Tommy. In her 2020 memoir, The Meaning of Mariah, she explained how she was working on the single Loverboy when she obtained a sample from the Yellow Magic Orchestra song, what she was going to use for her single. But it seems like Tommy, who is the head of Sony Music, was a bit bitter over the divorce and had other plans. Mariah wrote in her memoir saying, "After hearing my new song using the same sample I used, Sony rushed to make a single for another female entertainer on their label." But even after Mariah continued telling fans and interviewers that she didn't know J.Lo, it wasn't hard to figure out that this was who she was referring to. It really only went downhill from here though, and during a 2002 interview, Mariah threw more shade J.Lo's way. When asked about her feud with J.Lo, she responded by saying, "There are rivalries, but I don't think she has anything to do with me. My whole thing is singing and writing songs. I've been doing this my whole life, and singing is first and foremost. It's a God-given talent and I'm grateful for it. Her thing is something different." Of course, J.Lo was aware of what was being said about her to the public, and during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, she ended up giving her side of the story. When asked about Mariah, she responded by saying, "I don't have a feud against her at all. I know from back in the day I've read some things that she said about me that weren't the greatest." She continued on by saying, "But we have never met, we don't know each other. I think it's from word of mouth of things that have happened in the past." Number 5, trouble in paradise. Has Jen been lying about her struggles of married life? When they first got together, an insider revealed that Jennifer was walking on air. But now it appears she's come down to reality, as multiple sources have claimed the honeymoon phase has worn off since settling into their life in their home in LA. While both are working with busy careers and the stress of blending two families, could it all just be too much? A source tells the press they're back to the grind of work and parenting. Reality has set in. The same source also explained that only recently, Ben stormed out of the house following an intense fight. Allegedly, the couple have been arguing non-stop since the wedding. A second source says, before the wedding, Jennifer put on an Oscar-worthy performance for Ben, pretending to be perfect and an easygoing wife, claiming Ben was blinded by love and just didn't know what he was really getting himself into. The two have been spotted at various events and look to be fighting in various clips. But could this just be out of context moments, or is there some truth to what the sources have revealed? Number 4, demanding. Being called a diva throughout her career is nothing new to Jen. She has a bad rep in Hollywood for being supposedly somewhat of a diva, and the evidence is pretty incriminating. Reportedly, Jennifer refused to travel for a commercial that she agreed to do. For the commercial, she was meant to drive through the Bronx, where she grew up, to show what inspired her. But reportedly, she refused to leave LA, forcing a body double to have to step in and do all the work to make the ad for her. Her hotel demands are also known to be excessive. Allegedly, while staying at a hotel in London, she demanded a suite that was fit for royalty, with roses, specific brand of candles, and baked cookies with plain M&Ms. Insiders have come forward to share their experiences as staff when encountering J.Lo. Reportedly, while flying, Jen refuses to acknowledge any staff. An airline attendant claims he offered her a drink, but she didn't even look at him before looking at her personal assistant and said, "Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke with lime." Even with all the celebrities and other staff members coming forward to discuss their experiences with Jen, she's continued to deny her diva energy. She said during an interview, "I got a moniker of being a diva, which I never felt I deserved, which I don't deserve." Going on to say, "I've always been a hard worker, on time, and doing what I'm supposed to do." Number 3, her friendship with Garner. How are J.Lo and Ben's ex-wife, Jennifer Garner, really getting along? While the two would say that there's no bad blood, is that really the truth? While one source claims that the two have forged a friendship, other insiders' claims seem to contradict this. During an interview, Garner shares how how she's been working hard to not look at any news regarding her or her ex-husband. She said, "I work hard to not see either of us in the press. It doesn't make me feel good, even if it's something nice about one of us." She went on to add, "I don't need to see my family made into a meme." After she was asked if she has seen the Ben memes, and she replied by saying no, but admitting that he is quite meme-worthy. This didn't sit well with J.Lo at all, and an insider shared, "It's Jennifer's way of saying Ben looks miserable, and all of his appearances in the public are lame. How could J.Lo not take it personally?" Adding that the comments made were a big FU to J.Lo. The source further revealed the star's feelings, saying, "Part of her wants to fire back and tell Jennifer off, but she's smart enough to not make too much of a scene publicly. So it'll all be up to Ben to be the referee. Seems like maybe she's some pretty strong opinions that she'd rather the press not know." Number 2, the 2003 split. Seems like Ben and Jen have varying views as to why they called off their first wedding back in 2003. Jen supposedly has claimed that the two just weren't seeing a future with similar visions together. A source told Page 6 they were on very different paths at the end of it. Jennifer was ready to settle down and have kids, but Ben wasn't keen on giving up his bachelor lifestyle just yet. Going on to say she got tired of waiting for him to come around, even though it broke her heart to end things. But is this what Ben felt at the same time? In a conversation that was released after the two split, revealed how Ben hated all the attention the wedding was getting, which is one of the reasons the two called for the original postponement of their big day. He reportedly says, "It's driving me crazy, everything is out of control." And at number 1, we have Selena. Reportedly, Jen can't handle media attention and critics as well as she'd like people to believe. Back in 1997, Jen was criticized by a journalist for her role in the film Selena. Though many people loved the movie and Jen's performance, one journalist really felt the star's wrath for not loving it. The journalist wrote at the time, "The one thing you don't do when you walk into this movie is say, 'Who's that girl?'" During an interview, Jen said, "There are certain people marked for death already. I have my little list of journalists that have treated me unfairly." It didn't end there though, and it looked like she really couldn't handle the heat. Jen was quoted by Animated Times that when asked about the review, she said, "I was totally happy with my work on Selena, but out of the 700 reviews, I can quote, 'The one thing you don't do when you walk into this movie is say, 'Who's that girl?'" Going on to say, "When another person from the same magazine came up to me, the first thing I said to her was, 'You tell that other bee that writes for your magazine that I'm never talking to her again.'"
No one wants to get caught in a lie, especially when you're a celebrity in the spotlight with an image to maintain. Today we're delving into 10 times Jennifer Lopez was caught red-handed deceiving her loyal fans. Hey everyone, I'm your host Geraldine, and today we're going to be counting down the top 10 times Jennifer Lopez was exposed for lying to her fans. Starting us off at number 10, we have controlling Ben Affleck. One rumor Jennifer would definitely try to hide is how controlling she's been rumored to be. Several sources have spoken up about the state of Jennifer and Ben Affleck's marriage, mentioning numerous things that annoy her about him. According to an insider, one significant issue for Jen is Ben's smoking habit, which has been a long-standing behavior of his. The insider shared he promised to give it up, but with all her nagging, he's smoking more than ever. In addition to his smoking habit, it seems Ben might have a cleanliness problem as well. The source shared, "Ben doesn't clean up after himself, which irritates Jennifer." The source also criticized Jennifer's approach to nagging her husband, saying she's been known to yell at him and point her finger. It makes people wonder if she mistakes him for a dog. Moreover, Jennifer didn't hold back in an interview when she suggested that Ben had no fashion sense. Recounting a conversation with him, she stated, "I did kind of like say, you need to be, you're a movie star. You should wear a suit, You should do this with your hair." Going on to say, he didn't do anything he didn't want to do. He had some good fashion moments when he was with me. At number 9, we have the Botox accusations. Despite Jennifer's denial, numerous dermatologists claim that she has had Botox done in the past. Following the launch of her skincare brand J.Lo Beauty, Jennifer faced significant backlash. She attributed her ageless appearance to her skincare products, but many fans remain skeptical. And in a makeup-free selfie she shared, her skin appeared unusually flawless, raising suspicions. Jennifer has previously stated, "I haven't had Botox to this day, I'm not that person," asserting that olive oil, not cosmetic procedures, was her secret. Dermatologist Corey Hartman challenged her claim on Instagram, suggesting that Jennifer might be conveniently forgetting any previous Botox treatments, and emphasized that olive oil alone couldn't produce her results. Quote, "I think Jennifer is probably forgetting if she's ever had Botox, but I know for sure that she's used more than olive oil to maintain that glow." In response, Jennifer defended her practices in an interview, doubling down that her approach works, saying, "I'm telling you what I do works. Please don't call me a liar. I don't lie about things. I've been pretty honest about my whole life." She also engaged with fans on Instagram, denying accusations of Botox use. However, many people agree that achieving her youthful look solely through olive oil would be impossible given her age. At number 8, we have interview with movie line. Was she using this interview as an opportunity to criticize her fellow women in the industry, or was she genuinely just expressing her admiration for them? J.Lo's 1998 movie line interview has gained notoriety due to her interesting critiques of other women in the industry. One of the targets of her criticism was Madonna and her acting skills. When asked about Madonna, she supposedly responded by saying, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, 'Oh, I can do that, I can act.' I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." Gwyneth Paltrow was another person J.Lo targeted in this interview. When asked about Gwyneth, J.Lo replied, "I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association." She further commented, "I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work." Cameron Diaz was the next subject of J.Lo's harsh remarks. When discussing Cameron, she said, "A lucky model who's been given a lot of opportunities, I just wish she would have done more with." She also somewhat dismissed the actress by adding, "She's beautiful and has a great presence though, and in my best friend's wedding, I thought, when directed, she can be good." 20 years later, when asked about this interview, she admitted knowing that it had upset some people. She explained, "I was still in that kind of fan mentality back in the Bronx. And then you go, oh, wait a minute, you have a responsibility to present yourself in the way that you are and not let people interpret it in a way that could be that you're this hurtful, callous person." At number 7 is the makeup artist banishment. This situation is a prime example of J.Lo believing a complete lie and then running with it. Back in the mid-2000s, she went after her longtime makeup artist, Scott Barnes, like nobody's business. Why? Well, there were rumors floating around that someone in her inner circle spilled the beans about her secret wedding to Mark Anthony. And let me tell you, Jen was not happy about it. Scott spilled the tea during an interview, revealing that he was practically banished by J.Lo for a whole year, even though it turned out someone else leaked the info. He said at the time, "It was like I had the plague." But here's the kicker. Even after they started working together again, Jen never bothered to apologize. They just swept it under the rug like it never happened. He said, "I went back to work with her and we just never spoke about it again." Talk about weird. And number 6 is the relationship with Ben's ex. How are J.Lo and Ben's ex-wife Jennifer Garner getting along? While both parties may claim that there's no beef, the reality might be a bit more complicated. While one source suggested that the two have developed a friendship, other insiders' accounts seem to contradict this. During an interview, Garner revealed her deliberate efforts to avoid any news about herself or her ex-husband. She said, "I work hard not to see either of us in the press. It doesn't make me feel good, even if it's something nice about one of us." She went on to add, "I don't need to see anyone in my family made into a meme." When asked if she had seen the Ben memes, she replied saying no, but acknowledged that he tends to attract meme-worthy attraction. These comments didn't sit well with J.Lo, according to an insider who shared, "It's Jennifer's way of saying Ben looks miserable and all his appearances in public are lame. How could J.Lo not take it personally?" The source further disclosed J.Lo's feelings, noting that while part of her may want to respond and confront Garner, she's smart enough not to make a public scene. So it seems that Ben will play the role of mediator between the two, and that Jennifer Garner holds strong opinions about J.Lo that she prefers to keep away from the public eye. Number 5 is trouble in Bennifer paradise. Is J.Lo being less than truthful about the realities of married life? When she and Ben first got together, insiders revealed that Jennifer was over the moon. But now it seems like she's come crashing back down to reality. Multiple sources have chimed in, claiming that the honeymoon phase has faded since they settled into their LA home. According to one source, they're back to the grind of work and parenting, reality has set in. That's not all though. The same source spilled the tea that Ben stormed out of the house recently after a heated argument. Allegedly, the couple has been at each other's throats non-stop since tying the knot. Another insider shared, before the wedding, Jennifer put on an Oscar-worthy performance for Ben, pretending to be the secret, easygoing wife to be. claiming Ben was blinded by love and just didn't really know what he was getting into. Now we've seen them at events where they appear to be in the midst of a tiff, but could those moments have been taken out of context, or is there some truth to what these sources are dishing out? At number 4 we have the Selena film. It looks like Jen can't handle media attention and critics as well as she'd like us to believe. Back in 1997, she got pretty riled up over a journalist's criticism of her role in Selena. While lots of people loved the movie and Jen's performance, the particular journalist didn't feel the same way. They wrote, "The one thing you don't do when you walk out of this movie is say, 'Who's that girl?'" Later in an interview, Jennifer later addressed this, saying, "There are certain people marked for death already. I have my little list of journalists that have treated me unfairly." But the drama didn't stop there, and it seems she couldn't let this critique go. In an interview with the Animated Times, she revealed, "I was totally happy with my work on Selena, but out of the 700 reviews, I can quote the one who said the one thing you don't do when you walk out of this movie is say, 'Who's that girl?'" Going on to say, "When another person from the same magazine came up to me, the first thing I said to her was, 'You tell that other bee that writes for your magazine that I'm never talking to her again.' So note to self, don't write a bad view about J.Lo unless you want her to hold a grudge forever." Next at number 3 we have her feud with Mariah Carey. Everyone and their cousin knows about the long-standing rumor that Mariah Carey is J.Lo's ultimate arch-nemesis, and let me tell you, some of the reported incidents make it seem like there might be some truth to it. This feud goes way back to the 90s, and despite their denials of any bad blood, it's pretty clear that something isn't right between them. So here's the scoop. Apparently it all started because of Mariah's ex-husband, Tommy. In her 2020 memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, she spilled the tea about working on her single Loverboy and using a sample from a Yellow Magic Orchestra song. But here's the kicker. Her ex, Tommy, who was the big shot at Sony Music, seemed a tad bitter about the divorce and decided to play dirty. Mariah spilled the beans in her memoir, saying, "After hearing my new song using the same sample I used, Sony rushed to make a single for another female entertainer on their label." Now, Mariah never explicitly mentioned J.Lo by name, but it wasn't rocket science to figure out who she was talking about, and things only went downhill from there. In a 2002 interview, Mariah threw some serious shade J.Lo's way. When asked about their feud, she coolly replied, "There are rivalries, but I don't think she has anything to do with me. My whole thing is singing, writing songs. I've been doing this my whole life. Singing is first and foremost. It's a God-given talent that I'm grateful for. Her thing is something different." Then during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, J.Lo finally gave her side of the story. When asked about Mariah, she shot back saying, "I don't have a feud against her at all. I know from back in the day I've read things that she said about me that were not the greatest." J.Lo didn't hold back, adding, "But we have never met, we don't know each other. I think it's from word of mouth of things that have happened in the past." And number 2 is the first Ben of her breakup. It seems like Ben and Jen have different memories of why they called off their first wedding back in 2003. According to sources, Jen supposedly claimed that they didn't envision a future with compatible goals. As one source told Page 6, they were on very different paths at the end of it. Jennifer was ready to settle down and have kids, but Ben wasn't keen on giving up his bachelor lifestyle just yet. The source added she got tired of waiting for him to come around even though it broke her heart to end things. However, did Ben feel the same way at the time? A leaked conversation that occurred after their split revealed that Ben despised the excessive media attention surrounding their wedding, which ultimately led to the initial postponement. He allegedly said, "It's driving me crazy, everything is spiraling out of control." And finally, at number 1, we have her diva behavior. Jen has been labeled a diva throughout her entire career, and it's a reputation that seems to have stuck with her in Hollywood. Reportedly, Jennifer refused to travel for a commercial that she agreed to do. For the commercial, she was going to be driving through the Bronx, the neighborhood where she grew up, to show what inspired her. But she apparently refused to leave LA, forcing a body double to have to step in and do all the work to make the ad for her. Her demands when staying at hotels are also known to be way over the top. Apparently, during her stay at a London hotel, she insisted on a suite fit for royalty, complete with roses, specific candies, freshly baked cookies, and plain M&Ms. Insiders who have encountered J.Lo as staff members have also come forward to share their experiences. For instance, while on a flight, Jen reportedly ignored a flight attendant asking her for her drink order and instead spoke through her personal assistant to relay her request. Without even looking at him, she turned to her personal assistant and said, "Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke and lime." Yikes. Despite numerous accounts from other celebrities and staff members recounting their encounters with Jen, she has consistently denied her diva persona. In an interview, she defended herself by saying, "I got a moniker of being a diva, which I never felt I deserved," going on to say, "I've always been a hard worker, on time, doing what I'm supposed to do."